Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks, and we got more tattoo talk. I talked about this a few days ago, and we're going to look at this now from a different angle because there has been many more of these stories, at least 5 of them in the last few days. And I want to look at why the fake stream media are pushing these stories. I mean, what's the agenda here? Some people contacted me after that last video the other day about the tattooed man and said, why are you talking about this and not covering the proper news? Is it a slow news day? They said, listen, every day, is a slow news day. It's a slow fake news day. There isn't any news. It's mainly 99% fantasy land garbage. Fear propaganda, leading you on a merry dance. The media is not about the news. It's not about telling you what's going on. It's about them working for the control freaks and creating the public's consciousness. It's got nothing to do with reality. They are attempting to reshape how the majority see the world around them in order to control them through their reactions. And it works with both sides, the Hegelian dialect. Both the mainstream and the alternative media are playing the public in this game. And people need to disengage from both. Now, in the last few days, suddenly these stories, are popping up about people with loads of tattoos who are complaining about how they're being persecuted for the way they look. Now, I'm not being judgmental on these people. I don't want anyone else to be either. But I noticed how quick some people in the comments on that last video were so quick to jump in and accuse me of being judgmental. And as I said in the last video, look, people can do what they like, wear what they want. I personally don't judge them. I don't judge anyone. I'm not a judge. It's not my job. I don't disrespect anyone because of the way they look or how they present themselves. So you can knock that crap on the head. Yet at the same time, you can't expect people to not react to something that looks unusual. They will. And for the people who have all of these tattoos, you're lying if you didn't expect to get loads of attention, especially after going to such extreme lengths to look different. And this video isn't about the individuals. I'm not really interested in them. I'm curious as to why these stories are appearing now in large numbers in the fantasy narrative that the fake stream media are attempting to weave into people's consciousness. So here we see, and I'm just going to give a few examples out of a large number in the last few days. Woman dubbed demon by trolls, tired of people pointing and staring at her. Now you'll notice all of these stories follow the same narrative, that someone with a load of tattoos is complaining that they are now being targeted by the public. All of them are saying the same thing. And all of these stories are appearing in the more trashier tabloids, the lower end of the market. Now, as I said, I'm not really interested in the person. It's not important. These people are being used in order to sow some kind of seed in the public's mind. It's up to you how you want to look. So here we have someone called Orilan, grew up in a strict Christian household, but she has claimed that her extreme looks and X-rated career on OnlyFans has not impacted upon her religious beliefs despite being labelled a demon. So she says she's a strict Christian, but it says here has an X-rated career as a stripper. Okay, whatever. You see, this one has those eyeball tattoos which look, like zombie-like, got that horror look to it. You're going to get a reaction from people. It's just going to happen. You're getting attention. That's why you did it. That's why you agreed to this fake stream media story. It's all about attention, isn't it? But notice how we have in the story, she is claiming to be called a demon. And there's a lot of mentioning of Christians in the story, that she was or is still a strict Christian. So these subjects are being thrown in there. Right, here's another story from yesterday. Tattooed demon with horns says he's not a criminal and tells strangers to chill out. A man who calls himself London Demon has opened up about how his extreme body modifications and controversial face tattoos can inspire negative reactions in the public. Now, this one has full-on satanic tattoos, the Lucifer sigil tattooed right on his forehead, horns on his head. If that's what you want to carry on with, how you want to look, that's up to you. But again, this is all done for attention, and you're now getting attention. What did you expect? But let's look into the details of this story and see the connection with the other story. If you look into it, you see the religion angle comes in. It says, talking about the negative attention he has got, he explained it's happened a bunch of times, but the majority of those who babbled stuff about religion and criticized me for the way I was looking. But once you throw them with the, do you think God will be happy to hear what you are saying to me right now? They all suddenly shut up and go away. It's just egotistical people who think they know better than anyone, but they are probably deluded in their life and they show their frustration to other people. So again, what he's saying there, it's implying that Christians were the ones who were being negative towards him, that he's been persecuted by Christians who were offended by his satanic tattoos and his look. Here we see another one from a couple of days ago. I covered 200%. How do you cover 200% of your body? I covered 200% of my body in tattoos. A stranger thought I was the devil and he lost it. Again, the same narrative being told. Person with tattoos is accused of being a demon or a devil by someone who is obviously someone who finds satanic imagery offensive, which is very possibly someone who will be Christian, okay? And all of these stories appearing at the same time. I mean, what? We've got a woman who is upset because people called her a demon, a guy with a Lucifer sigil stamped onto his head, complaining about religious people being negative towards him, the fellow with the Devil 666 tattoos, the one I was talking about in the video the other day, who was complaining about being thrown out of a supermarket, and now this one as well, all telling the same story. And all of these people, all of these tattooed people, if you look into them, they have appeared on numerous occasions in the past in the fake stream media. This is not a one-off. They have been used before. To me, this is an obvious media agenda. As I've already said, they don't tell the news. They shape the way people see the world outside of their personal bubbles. They're attempting to create the public's consciousness, and these stories are just one small, tiny part of what I believe could be the start of an agenda to portray Christians as wicked and threatening. Yeah, this could just be the start. Very small, silly, nothing burger stories that imply that people who believe in God and Jesus are insulting people with satanic tattoos, which is probably not even true. It's just an early start of framing Christians in a bad light. Now, if we look at the scripture in the Bible, the end days, the book of Revelation, and I know, when I talk about this, I see it in the comments, some people don't like it when I mention the Bible and Jesus. Some do. Some also suggest that the establishment are deliberately trying to create situations that echo much of what happens in the end times, as if they're following a script, okay? Talking about these things seems to really, wind people up. Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to continue talking about it because I believe it to be pivotal to what is going on. So if you look at the book of Revelations, Christians are persecuted. People hate them and turn against them. It says, you will be hated by all because of my name, but it is the one who has endured to the end who will be saved. Okay? So for this to play out like the scripture, whether you believe it or not, then there is going to have to be some form of media campaign, a media agenda. That's the same media that weaves fantasy stories into the public's consciousness in order to control them. Okay, some form of media agenda will be launched to portray Christians as wicked, dangerous, as the enemy, as extremists, even terrorists, yeah? That is if it's going to follow the scripture. Okay, and I just want to point this out now because that's what I started picking up on when I started seeing this glut of silly stories about these attention seekers, how they all turn up at the same time and all tell the same story of a satanic looking person being persecuted by these cruel religious people. And all the stories include references to Christians, demons, devils, so that you get the message. So just wanted to point that out now, because if that is the case, then this would be just the start of it. Nothing too heavy to begin with. Gradual, silly stories that frame Christians in a bad light. It will be something that keeps coming up time and time again in all different areas of life. They might stretch it out for, a couple of years. It's a slow build-up of media waffle. So I thought if I make you aware of it now, then next time there is some story about some Christian group of people who are framed like a cult of people and are said to be doing weird stuff, or something terrible happens and the person who did it turns out to be an Orthodox Christian and it's blamed on his religious outlook, you'll think, yeah, that's what Hugo was talking about that time. Okay, as always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to hugotalks.com and I'll see you later.